In DeKalb County, there's an ancient cemetery at the intersection of Clifton Springs and Clifton Church Roads. It's actually older than the roads because it is older than cars. It is what the faithful call hallowed ground, where the dead lie in repose, that sweet by and by. The azaleas here glow like the burning bush itself in a furious inferno of color. And if you stand still long enough, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the trees groaning in the wind. Your footsteps announce your arrival long before you get to that place. That place where in 1999 a worker walked up on something curious, something odd like a violet in the winter, something that turned out to be someone. It was the body of a child.
This child was identified as a John Doe. At that time, we didn't know who he was. We always had the hope that this child would be identified, thinking he would be identified. Surely somebody will identify him.
But that never happened, so the DeKalb Medical Examiner's staff adopted the little boy posthumously in their hearts, naming him Dennis, as in Dennis the Menace from the cartoons, a nod to the mischief in the smile the forensic artist gave him.
We're still waiting for the phone call for someone to call us and tell us who this child is and give us a real name other than Dennis.
Chief Investigator Mark Anglin was a police detective on the case back in '99. Investigator Richard Bowen worked the CSI part and can never forget cradling the boy's remains for transport to the ME's office, where both men work today.
I remember that day like it was happening yesterday. Every time I drive by this location, I look over there and I can see him laying in the woods where I picked him up that day.
These are clothes identical to the ones Dennis was wearing when he was found.
The brand of shoe and type of shoe were sold at South DeKalb Mall. And you can see
So much time has passed in the case that the boxes of floppy disks and Polaroids and VHS tapes are now obsolete technology.
Wow. Hard disk, floppy disk, 4-inch disk.
Week after week, month after month, the ancient cemetery kept its secret. A boy in the woods, alone and abandoned and unknown.
We have sent DNA to the University of South Florida, isotope DNA, hoping to give us another area where this child may have been raised. The isotope DNA came back to North Florida, Central Georgia, so he puts him in the area, DeKalb County, Metro Atlanta.
Investigators hold on to hope that someone will come forward, that maybe the mischief in his smile is a genetic heirloom that they recognize.
somebody loved this child, either being the grandmother, the aunt, the uncle, the parent. Somebody misses this child and been wondering where this child's been for the last 19 years.
And while someone concealed the death, there is no evidence of foul play, just that the child may have been sick.
The autopsy was discovered there was no trauma. We don't suspect this to be a homicide. We did locate some Tylenol-type Benadryl medication through toxicology.
Anglin and Bowen have loyally carried this case for nearly 2 decades.
If anyone knows who this child may be, contact us so we can send him home and give him the proper burial that he deserves.
Because until that time, this is his headstone. His remains can never leave the custody of the medical examiner.
We're supposed to separate ourselves from our victims, but I feel for this child and I feel for the family that has missed out on watching this child grow up to be a young man.